Fucking punch me in the temple.
There is no syrup to do.
I think they'll see that.
What, like ankle breakers? 5 seconds.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2.
Doc will be the safety corpsman. All right. At any point in time of the training, whether it's during day or casualties, all right. If you are a routine or priority casualty, you'll be transported back to the beach. All right. From there, we'll meet you down.
What do you do?
Kill it.
Surf
zone.
Where are you?
Proceed with caution.
What's our fucking hazards?
We have law enforcement, radio battalion, we have combat camera, and then obviously those who are not going to be on like the raid for next week. We'll execute like bump plans, down boats, and then eventually we'll do a mock profile raid tonight here at this beach. So that's kind of the brief ski maneuver, and that's how we're going to do the rotations. So we have 108 spots on the boats.
Stand by, flow boats! 1, 2, 3, flow boats! Flow boats!
Tom Charnley, I'm a sergeant in 2nd Platoon. I'm 2nd Squad Leader of Fox Company, 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines. CHARNLEY. So this is all basically the basic skills for the boat package, like just launching and recovering boats, flipping over boats that have been flipped, actually working with the engines, and then getting our speed runs for. Basically what that part is just figuring out which is the fastest boat, which is the slowest boat, so we can tailor our squads or our teams accordingly. The biggest friction points when it comes to a boat raid is the beach. Like getting on and off the beach, getting actually to the beach with the boat. It's the longest transit, the longest part of the actual boat raid is the transit and dealing with the boats. So being extremely proficient and understanding how the boat works and how we need to operate on the beach and in itself is the biggest part that will make a raid successful or not. A lot of our coxswains that we have are junior Marines, generally anything from a PFC all the way up to a corporal. And in certain boats you'll have a PFC running a boat and there'll be a sergeant up to a first sergeant in that boat. But on the boat you have to understand that the coxswain is in charge. So those guys who are higher ranks than those need to understand that that PFC at that time is running the show, and they need to have that trust and have that confidence in that Marine for what his job is actually doing. And that's what this part is here. We're getting the kinks out, we're getting the, knocking the rust off of those guys to reteach ourselves what we need to do. That way we do have that trust and confidence because we've worked with each other. It's cold and wet out there, and when we're on the boats, like, misery builds confidence.
Daniel Angeles, squad leader for Fox Company 25. I'm a sergeant. My first name is D-A-N-I-E-L, last name A-N-G-E-L-E-S. Today you saw basic boat skills for our company, recovery process of boats flipping, on hands with engines, and our coxswains and scout swimmers getting their basic practice. So majority of our friction points when it comes to boats is actually getting our hands on the boats and getting in the water. The coxswains, the Marines that drive the boats, are the ones that are, needing to get the help the most out here on the water. Getting our scout swimmers out there, allowing every Marine across the board to inevitably, partake in the boat and do their job. The biggest friction point is getting on and off the water, on and off the craft itself, and, just getting down that beach landing right before we hit our raid. The biggest malfunctions that we have is the actual engine going down. We mitigate that by having our mechanics out there. We have dry mechanics and we have boat mechanics actually out on the water. Other than that, it's not really anything else that we come across. Majority of it's the engine failure, things like that. So across the board, the way the Marine Corps is shifting or training their vision of our mission out here in Asia and Japan, basically the best and most efficient way for an infantry unit to hit any other country that we need to go to is via boat. It's a quick way to do it. It's very efficient. It's tactical. It's good at night. It makes for great movement for us. So across the board, it's really, really good for the infantry. The MEU progression across the board is our ability to, get anywhere we need to within 24 hours, anywhere across, wherever we're at, wherever we're operating. For us, our ability to get on boats, get on ship, and get to where we need to get to via water, via land on any beach is huge. It's a huge part of the Marine Corps. It's a huge part of why we're out here, and it's very efficient for us. Across the board, I believe that the best training the Marine Corps can get and give to their Marines and our Marines is hands-on training. We can give classes all day long. We can teach our Marines via, PowerPoint all day long. But until we get out here and do this hands-on training, I think that's the best training for the Marines. I think that's where everybody partakes and learns the most. And, I think that's how everybody likes to learn is hands-on training. So it's part of why we're out here, is just to get our hands on the boats and get everything done while we need to get it done.
Jesse Pearson, Staff Sergeant, Jessepearson. Right now I'm a platoon sergeant for 2nd Platoon Fox Company 25. What we have going on at night, that's our best time to strike the enemy. If we're doing any kind of raid, this is our best chance to infiltrate the enemy lines. We infiltrate it through the seawall at night and then come up. It gives us a chance to mask our movement and then mask our forces onto the enemy positions. Pretty much this gives us the multi-mission asset of being able to deploy small boats off the back of the boats, and if needed, infiltrate the waters into any kind of target, whether that be a beachhead, whether that be an urban pier. It gives us a multiple abilities to infiltrate the enemy lines. Specifically because at night that gives us the cover that we need to get a whole company's raid force securely onto the BLS, which is the beach landing site, and that'll get the whole company on the floor, boots on the ground moving. So obviously for the day and night, both we have safety swimmers in the water. We'll always have a safety craft when we're doing any kind of small boat operations or maneuvers. Just in the event that a boat goes down or a swimmer goes overboard, we'll have that boat there to take them and swoop them up and get them to the next echelon of care. And then we also have chem lights, obviously, to mark all the swimmers at night. Just because we get a man overboard at night, sometimes the dark water, dark skies, that you're not gonna be able to see that guy. I think one asset that we tend to look at and overlook is the scout swimmer program. We have scout swimmers. It's specifically 8 guys. They'll literally creep off the boats from about 500 meters out. They'll swim up and infiltrate that beachhead. They're secret squirrel, and they get up and they're establishing that BLS to allow the raid force to come onto that shore. And I think that's a pretty cool asset that we have. We don't really use them too much, and it's almost like a perishable trait. We tend to veer away from them because we're focused on Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, all that stuff like that, but we don't really think of the maritime aspects of it. So I think that's definitely something that we have to look forward to.